What's up, everyone? Jerky Jones here. Today I got a double book review. So I got these two books. I'm doing a double review. I'm going to do War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells first, and then after, in my next video, which will follow right after this one, I got The Red Badge of Courage by Stephen Crane. The reason I'm doing these two books is because they share the same theme. And what is that? The theme is get the hell out of Dodge. That's what it is. Basically, both books, the main character has to run away from a horrific situation to save his own skin, meeting multiple characters along the way, getting into fights, trying to survive, doing everything they have to get through the next hour, day, second. So like I said, I'm going to start off with War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. You probably know this book from the famous movie, the Tom Cruise movie, which came out in the 2000s somewhere. I don't remember. I look it up. I saw the movie first before I read this. I just read this summer. And it has been 5 or 6 months since I read this book, so please bear with me if some of my memories aren't sharp exactly of all the details, but I do remember it pretty well, so we're gonna review it because it's been a while. So War of the Worlds, what's the story about? Did I like it? What's the gist? What's the deal? So yeah, you may remember the Tom Cruise movie. Like I said, the book is pretty much the exact same as the movie, except the book was written in 1895. So it's the same as the movie, except in England in the late 1800s. So a little bit about the book first. It is written by H.G. Wells. He is a very famous author. He's got another famous book called The Time Machine, or was it The Time Traveler? Sorry. Looking. He's got a lot of other books, put it that way. The Island of Dr. Moreau, The Invisible Man, The Time Traveler, Time Machine, I forget which one. Anyways, he's a very famous author. He's really good. So the book is 180 pages. It's not super big. It's your average paperback book, you know. The font type is kind of tiny. It's regular. It's not big or anything. It's normal. Like I said, the book was written in 1895. So the language used is a little difficult. It's English. It's normal English. It's just you can't read this book when you're tired because you're going to be reading the same paragraph over and over. You want to read it when you're fresh, and maybe if you have a dictionary next to you or whatnot, so you can look up words, old words that they use. But it's not too bad. You just got to pay attention. It is a little bit higher on the reading scale. You know, it's a little bit more, it's older, so it's harder to read. The terms and the words and the language and the way they write, it's very long and drawn out and wispy and descriptive and big words. And all right, so I'm going to give you an example of the language used here. I just kind of picked kind of a random spot, but it works. So it says, these canisters smashed on striking the ground. They did not explode, and incontently disengaged an enormous volume of heavy, inky vapor, coiling and pouring upward in a huge and ebony cumulus cloud, a gaseous hill that sank and spread itself slowly over the surrounding country. And the touch of that vapor, the inhaling of its pungent wisps, was death to all that breathes. Like, it's descriptive, you know, that wasn't too bad. Sometimes you gotta, what did I just read? And, you know, you gotta read it again, but it's worth it. Like, it's very satisfying, this read. What do I mean by that? You feel really smart when you read this book. And it's the way he describes things, even though it can be long and kind of whatever, it's very descriptive, and it really fills your head with the picture, with what he's describing. Like, every time I picked this book up, I felt like I was there, which is awesome. You know, that's like, I was really immersed in it. I felt like I was reading a classic. Like, I felt like I was in the movie. I was seeing a 21st century movie play out in front of my eyes, except with Tom Cruise or one of the guys that plays Sherlock Holmes as the main character. That's how it came across to me. So the story is basically this. It's pretty simple. It only takes place over like 10, 15, 20 days, something like that. It's not super long. It's like 10 or 15 days, I think. And the story starts, this guy, he's walking home one day. A friggin' alien pod lands in England. Boom. You know, big divot in the earth. Bunch of people. He's in a small town, you know. Like I said, no cars or nothing. It's all horses. It's all old cannons and muskets and olden days. So the townsfolk along the road, just a few of them are gathering around. Oh, what is that? I don't know. What is it? What do you think it is? They're all gathering around. You know, 24 hours goes past, still nothing. Now there's a big crowd. Now there's like 100 people standing around looking at it, whatever. And the 24 hours goes. All of a sudden the top starts to screw off. This friggin' rod comes up, looks around, lasers everyone. 10 seconds, they're all dead. The guy is like down the road watching. He knew something was up, so he's kind of moved away or whatever, and he starts running for his life. The laser's burning everything, trees, everything. And so then he's like, what the heck? So he starts running and telling people, and no one's believing him and stuff, you know, of course. And anyways, the book is about him surviving this alien onslaught. As the days goes on, more and more and more of these pods start landing all over the world, but all over England. And, you know, the military comes out, and they're, next thing you know, these aliens start building these gigantic 10-story tall, massive metallic robots that walk and storm through and laser everything. And of course, World War I hasn't even started, and so there's no tanks. It's just horses carrying wagons with like old soldiers with muskets and cannons. They're getting absolutely destroyed. And that's the book. This guy is just running for his life day after day. Everyone's getting wiped out. He like has a few close calls. The next thing you know, he's going town to town, and they're all burning and empty, and he's starving. Like, he's just starting to run out of water and food, and he's like he's scavenging through people's homes looking for food, and he's eating old stuff, and he's finding warm beer and drinking it and whatnot. It's pretty intense. I highly recommend this book. I really do. It's very interesting. It's not the easiest read, but it's worth it. It's so worth it. Also in the book, so in the movie, I don't know if you remember, there's a scene where Tom Cruise and this Timothy Robbins or Tim Ryan, I don't know, some actor named Robbins and Tim, combination of that in the movie. They fight, and they're stuck in this house together trying to survive, and the one guy goes insane, and Tom Cruise has to kill him. That happens in the book, and it's way more intense. It's way more intense. Like, he meets this priest or something like that, and the priest is kind of weak and feeble, and, oh, help me. So, come on, yeah, we'll help. Whatever, and they get together, and they team up, and it's all good for, you know, a couple days. But then the priest starts freaking out and starts eating all the food and losing his mind, and there's an alien pod right next to them, and they're trapped in this house for days and days and days, and they can't move because the aliens are constantly building and walking around and all this. And the priest guy's starting to go insane, and the guy's got to kill him because he's giving away their position. He started making too much noise. It's intense. So, anyways, I'm gonna leave it there. I'll let you folks figure this one out, explore it. H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds, great book. I am giving it a 9.35 out of 10. Boom. Peace.